I'm Morgan with Morgan's Greenhouse. Today we're going to show you how to mount a Staghorn Fern on a plaque. You've probably seen those for sale, or maybe you've seen them at a greenhouse. And we're going to show you a little bit about Staghorn Fern, why they prefer to be mounted, and show you how to put it on this thing. So let's get to it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the plant. You can see here we've got a mature Staghorn Fern. And you can see why it would be called that. It has really antler-like fronds, and when mounted on a plaque, it really does have a resemblance to certain taxidermy art. It's a member of the Platycerium genus, and you can see it's got three main types of growths. It's got its root ball, which we never really want to expose. They don't like to be exposed to air. The shield fronds, you can see these big pieces here, and then the antler fronds. Okay, so these guys grow on trees. They'll use these shields and their root ball to literally kind of grab onto the tree. Orchids kind of do the same thing. These type of plants are called epiphytes. With that, today you're going to see we're mostly going to use orchid mixes to repot this plant onto a mount. So if you grow orchids or if you keep them in a greenhouse, you can easily add a plant like this. Or if you grow them inside the house, you'll actually want to keep them more in a net pot type situation that they can stay a little bit more moist. But if you're able to provide a really bright light that's not too harsh and a moist environment, you really can have success with these beautiful plants. Okay, so let's get on to mounting the plants. And as you can see, we can do this with a wide variety of species and types of plants. It doesn't have to be a Staghorn Fern. I've got a bulbophyllum orchid there that readily produces air roots, so it prefers being on a substrate like that. And these are two Tolumnia orchids that love being mounted. They are very epiphytic as well. This is a very small plant, and we want to choose a small plant. Well, you certainly can mount a large plant, and you'll easily and quickly have a display piece. I like to mount them on with smaller Staghorn Ferns because they're kind of a medium to slow growing fern, but this plant will really grow into this mount. And if done correctly, you'll never have to take this off this mount. In fact, if it gets just too large, with the too large of shields, common practice is actually just to take this and mount it on top of a larger board, and it'll grow from there. So let's get on to starting mounting the plant. Alright, so we've got the same species here. This is actually, this species here is the mother plant. It's the Staghorn Fern, Netherlands variety. I like it because it's got some interesting leaves, but they don't bifurcate or anything like that. So we're going to make a mess probably, but it's okay. These are some materials. I've had it in the pot. I kind of want to keep it wrapped in that, and you do not want to expose the roots as much as you can. They just really don't like being messed with because they're pretty fragile. The different mediums we're going to be using, we've got some cocoa coir. Again, both of these are orchid materials, and this is a very low grade orchid bark mix that was just too poor of a quality to use for any of my orchids. That would probably suffocate their roots. It's more like dirt material. But it'll be perfect to put as the very first small layer behind our mount. Let's go ahead and take our tools. We're going to need a staple gun, and what you do first is take fishing line, any like medium or probably like a medium weight fishing line. Mine is red, which is really helpful because you can see it easily when you're pushing it through sphagnum moss or when you're working with it, and also it was just what I had laying around. So recycle what you have so you don't have to go out and buy fishing line if you ever go fishing. So we're going to staple it down there, and it holds it pretty well in there. You want to make sure it's pretty good. We're going to leave this end out so that way we can use it to tie on later. So what we're going to do first, I am going to take this little mix here. It's that, once again, the low grade orchid bark that I bought. Yes, so if you see low grade orchid bark at Menards, don't fall for it. So in this mix, I've already mixed cocoa coir with premium grade New Zealand sphagnum moss. And I've been using this premium grade New Zealand sphagnum moss for a while now for all of my carnivores, orchids, and any other plants. I even mix it in with a lot of my house plants and cuttings. It is just way worth it to buy the specialty sphagnum moss, and you'll see a huge difference, especially in amount. You're trying to hold as much moisture as you can in there. So what we're doing here is I'm kind of trying to make it not get too tall, but I'm trying to kind of roll together all the pieces so we can get a little bit of shape here. And try to not disturb the roots. And what I'm going to do is just start kind of wrapping it a little bit. And the goal is that it has to be very sturdy, so I'll tie on to this a few times. Okay. And think about how the point right, just by saying you're probably going to a little bit either up or going down, however you like it. Eventually it'll grow to you wherever it wants to be anyway. Okay, so I'm going to take this middle layer, is just a mix of cocoa perlite, and we're going to make one moss. And just take quite a bit of this here. Okay, so let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is staple again. Now I'm pretty confident that a lot of this is going to stay. So I'm going to staple it again. Just get it as deep in as you can so you can avoid seeing those staples in the finished product. Okay, now I'm going to take more of this moss here and kind of actually wrap it here. And then we'll start stapling it down to the board. I don't want to get too goofy. I don't want to have here. I want to get back to make it a little bit too tall for my teeth at least. And eventually I think a lot of this perlite and these stray pieces, they may fall out for a couple of days or so, I think with a few warnings. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to really start trying to get under and get our final shape. Because it should be pretty protected, I guess. I'm going to see what it is. Fine. Okay, now it'll be easier to tack it down. Just avoid using fingers. And if you like nails, you could use nails and just tie your nails. Either way, it's fine. The nails are too long for this type of material of mounting. And if you're ready to, so it doesn't go, you can try to get it staple back. So it doesn't go away. There we go. Just be quite a bit of stapling, but eventually it'll be sturdy. And remember to get center on the back as you're taking it into its final shape. You can do it twist around too on the bottom and full. Yeah, but even if you don't see these Staghorn Ferns, there are some rare Staghorn Ferns. I can't find any for a good price out of this. Basically, they're really cool. Okay, so I'm trying to get there on synchronicity. Okay, no, I'm gonna. You don't attack through the plant, but you can attack the plant down. Very tight nails. Be happy still. Okay. And tuck in any pieces. And okay, I'll staple this in. I think we're getting close. Oops, that didn't work. There we go. And if you have like some staples, you can then pull the sphagnum moss back over it. Let's see, I'll lift it up and go ahead. Oh, I probably should have tied that, but it's stapled in. Let's see. And now that, and you can trim off any super long pieces of sphagnum moss, or just kind of, they'll get shaped in eventually. Just trim up the fluffiness. And yeah, you can already see the perlite is kind of falling away and any pieces we didn't want to see. If you are left at this point with a piece of string that kind of sticks out and you just don't like it, take a bobby pin and open it up and just shove it in there and push it down in, and it'll be a lot more discreet. So there you have it. We've mounted this, and how you can go ahead and take care of it from this point. They do not like to dry out all the way. They do need this well-draining mix, so that's why we've put the perlite in there and the cocoa coir. That should help with moisture and drainage. But you're gonna have to make sure you want to mist them with, here's your sorry little mister, and you want to make sure it's really moist in there. You can give them, this is a very thorough misting, so you can do that once a day, or what I do is just put it in the sink and let it soak in a big bowl of water for a good little bit of time and get it out. Or if you grow orchids or other epiphytic plants, just stick it in your greenhouse, and it's a really great companion to orchids. And if you're in your house, maybe try placing it over a humidifier and you'll have success with this mounted Staghorn Fern. These mounted plants would be great as gifts or a fun activity for you to try. If you're wanting to up your horticultural skills, you can try mounting an epiphytic plant. We have both the small Staghorn Netherlands plants available and mounted as well. So if you want to try it or if you want to give one as a gift. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.